Hey guys, so sorry you're getting the super close-up view of my face. I am dealing with a cold right now that has caused my voice to kind of go out, and so I figured I'd be as close to the microphone as possible so that it'd be a little easier to hear me. But I wanted to get this video update done because I am 36 weeks and 6 days today, which means I am so close to full term, almost there. And I'm just super excited about that. But I wanted to go ahead and do my 36-week update for you guys. So as far as symptoms go, the major symptom, which is part of what I had talked about in my 35th week in my last video, was that he had dropped down a little bit. And that has really upped the amount of back pain that I've had. And also, I started experiencing a lot of pelvic pain. Like, I seriously feel like someone just shattered my pelvis. Or like, if you fall and hit your tailbone and it like feels all like sore and bruised, that's kind of how my entire pelvis feels. And so like every time I move, it hurts. Like every time I take a step, it hurts. I don't know, just it hurts all the time. And it hurts a lot, like in my pubic bone especially. And so it's really uncomfortable. I am only, almost 37 weeks, but I already feel like I'm like 38, 39 weeks. And so I didn't think that I would get to the point where I'm like, I'm done and over this so early, since I'm just almost only barely full term. But I'm definitely getting to that point quite quickly with how much back pain I've been experiencing this week. The back pain has gotten to the point where the sharp pains that I feel like when I take a step are so sharp and so painful that it'll actually cause my knee to buckle a little bit. And so it's just been really hard to walk around and move and do things in general. And I've been doing a lot of resting, or at least trying to. Probably not as much as I should, but it's hard when you have a toddler and you don't have a car, so everything that you do involves walking and that kind of stuff. But we've got this holiday, week coming up, and so my husband has some days off for Christmas, and then he also has his holiday leave coming up after Christmas all the way through until my due date pretty much, and then he'll have paternity leave as soon as Brayton is born. So pretty much get my husband home for a good while, which is really nice. The timing was really good there. But anyways, so that will help with the fact that it's really hard to move around. Other than that, the only other symptom that I really experienced this week that's a change other than being sick has been, and this might have to do with being sick, but kind of at the end of the 35th week and all of this week, I've been experiencing a lot more like morning sickness type symptoms where I wake up feeling nauseous. I just kind of feel nauseous throughout the day. After I eat stuff, I feel nauseous. Pretty much just nauseous all the time. It's really easy to make me gag, which I don't really have an easy gag reflex or anything like that. But I think that has a lot to do with all the mucus I've got going on here with the cold as well. But it just, like brushing my teeth and things like that, it just makes me gag really easily. And it's never been like that before, even when, well, it was kind of like that in the first trimester when I had the really bad morning sickness, but not as bad as it is now. Like, it's just really easy to make me gag, and I kind of have to like take a step back and like breathe for a second so that I don't actually get sick. I haven't gotten sick yet, but definitely some close calls with how easy it is to make me gag. So that's pretty much it for the symptoms this week. The other big things that we had going on this week was on the 18th, which was Tuesday, we had an appointment with the pediatric director at the hospital. And the reason that we had this appointment was because we choose to decline the vitamin K shot that they give newborns. And we had struggled with that issue a lot when I went into the hospital while in labor with my daughter. And they just were really fighting us on it. It was like midnight, and they were calling the pediatric director at their home, I guess is what they're telling us, and they were saying that it was just this really big issue. We ended up having to write out a statement saying that we understand the risks, we're not going to hold the hospital liable, and sign it, and all this while I'm like in labor, and it was just a big issue. So we'd asked our midwife about it this time, just if there was a way that we could prevent that from being an issue, if we could bring a statement, and put it in my file already or anything like that. So she put in a consult to talk to the pediatric director so that he could basically educate us about the shot, and if we still wanted to decline it at the time, that he would make a note of that, which is exactly how the appointment went. He asked us why, and I didn't give him all the specifics, all the scientific, all the backing behind it. I just told him that it is a personal decision that we've researched, that we feel strongly about, and whatnot. I did give him a little bit of information to let him know that we do feel that we've educated ourselves about this, and this is an educated decision that we're making. And he talked with us a little bit about it, and he pulled out a book that he basically called his Bible of medicines or diseases or something. But he didn't really fight us on it, and so that was really great. And he just said okay, and he made a note that he spoke with us. He emailed our midwife, who then printed out the conversation that they had through email, and made an area at the bottom so that we could sign it, saying that we had discussed it and that there shouldn't be an issue. So that's really great. That's just one less thing that we'll have to worry about when I actually go into the hospital. So that was the appointment on Tuesday, and then the next day on Wednesday, we had the appointment with my midwife, which is where she had printed out the email and had to sign it and whatnot. At that prenatal appointment, I had to do the Group B strep test, and then we also were talking, we finalized our birth plan, and so we brought it to her to go over. So the appointment was a little bit longer than a typical prenatal appointment, even with the Group B strep test. So, anyways, two things. I had been preparing for the Group B strep test for about 2 weeks, doing different preventative, I guess, just trying to reduce my chances of getting a positive Group B strep test. And I'm going to make a separate video about that, just about what I had done for that. But she did the Group B strep test, and it took 48 hours to get the results back. And I am Group B strep negative, so that is just wonderful. One less thing that we have to worry about. So I'm really excited about that, because had it been positive, I would have requested to be tested again the next week. There were a few more things that I could have done to really help clear the bacteria out and that kind of stuff. But thankfully I didn't have to do that, and things are good and we don't have to stress about that. So that's just wonderful. Aside from this Group B strep, we just talked about our birth plan. The great thing is that, I will be making a separate video about our birth plan and the things that we have in there. But the awesome thing was that as she's going through it, she was basically just saying, like, this is all typical procedure here. Pretty much everything that we do, they practice delayed cord cutting. They prefer to put the baby on the mom's chest. They want you to establish breastfeeding right afterwards. All the things that are typical. There are obviously some things in our birth plan that talk about, like, the hypno babies and, things like that. But they're, for the most part, a lot of the stuff that was in our birth plan, she said, is just standard procedure on the labor and delivery floor, which is great, because that means when we go in, my midwife is not the doctor or is not the one who's on call, that any of the other physicians are going to be more likely to give us the things that are in our birth plan to help us achieve those goals. So that's really great. We were really relieved about that. She didn't have any problems with the things that were in our birth plan. She didn't feel like there was anything really drastic or dramatic or, something that we were going to have an issue with. So that was just awesome. So she took our birth plan and put it in our file, and So that'll be there. We'll also bring a copy of our birth plan with us to the hospital just in case, to make sure that it's there with us and that we have that. So all in all, it was a really good appointment. We did hear his heartbeat. It was in the upper 140s, which is great. She did want to do the ultrasound just to check and see if his head is down. I had told her that I didn't want to do an ultrasound, that I'd rather just wait and do the ultrasound when I got into the hospital, labor and delivery floor on that day. Make sure that he's head down, and because I prefer not to have ultrasounds after 24 weeks. But she was like, I'm just gonna do it really quick. We'll just put it down there. We'll be good. And with being sick and it was early in the morning, I just didn't fight it. I was like, whatever, I don't care. I knew that he was head down, and so she brought in the ultrasound. She put it on there really quick and did confirm that he is head down, which is just great. When she was doing my fundal height and my just feeling my stomach and whatnot, she did say that he is quite low down there, so that did confirm that he did drop down a little bit, like I talked about. So everything is good. She said that he is measuring at 37 weeks, so he's right back at being a week ahead ish. I was about 36 and a half weeks at the time, so he's right on. But with him dropping down, I was surprised that he was still measuring at 37 weeks. So anyways, that's pretty much the appointment that we had, and pretty much the update that I have for 36 weeks. I will insert my pictures of the belly progression from 6 weeks to 36 weeks. I feel like my stomach is just huge. And every time my husband takes a picture, he's like, that's quite a belly. It's such a loving way that he says it, but I'm like, yep. I know, I have to carry it around. So yeah, I'm at the point where I'm definitely ready for him to come, but obviously it's on his own terms, but I just hope he's not stubborn and wants to stay in for 42 weeks. That would be excruciating. But anyways, that's my update, and I have a bunch of other videos that I hope to be getting up. I'm hoping that my voice starts to return soon so that the videos aren't so awful with my voice being blah, but we'll see. I'm just going to try and get them up this week while I have my husband here to help with her, with our daughter, so that maybe I can do some of them during the day instead of at night when she's asleep, because I just have a bunch of videos that I need to get up. Anyways, we are getting closer and closer to when he will be here, so if you have not liked my Facebook fan page, whatever you want to call it, please head over there and do that, because that is going to be how we will be updating everyone as far as what is going on and whatnot before we can get any videos up. So I'll post the link in the description box below, but I will talk to you guys for my next update. Bye!